No! Why? What? I thought he wasn't that close. Oh! She's gonna kill me. She's gonna find me. She's gonna tear me limb from limb. I'm so scared right now. Dude, that killed me. You've killed me dead, J. Marion Raiders. You've killed me dead with a gun.
I am just trying.
Because I just got jump scared. And then the raid. Ah! Thanks for the raid, I guess. Dude. Thank you for the raid. It's fucking, you know who I am. Yeah, clip it. Clip it. You already know this broadcast is brought to you by Extra Strength Tylenol once a day. Keeps the allistic at bay. Okay? Thank you to our good friends at Johnson & Johnson and Tylenol for sponsoring this broadcast. Spiritually, of course, not monetarily. Yeah, that's what's up. Apparently J&J sold the brand recently? Maybe that's why their stock rallied. I'm gonna say it again. Don't take Tylenol. Stop taking Tylenol. You'll have to tough it out. Don't take Tylenol. Don't do it. Oh, way before. Interesting. I thought Johnson & Johnson still had it. Whatever. Thank you to our good friends at Tylenol. Back to the game. I'm playing Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. We baby gaming, except it's scary baby games. It's okay. It's like a rated T for teen moment probably type game. We playing teenager games. What if we had a good guy with a Tylenol? Well, that's the thing. You take a Tylenol, you become a bad guy. They turn you into someone with autism. And as far as I understand, that's a very difficult thing. It's a very difficult thing indeed. I know many good people that have autism, but it turns you into a freaky guy, let me tell you. Or girl, but I've heard many people are saying the numbers are very much higher in men. They recognize it in men. Damn, I went way back, by the way, because I didn't find a save point. That's fucked. Many people are saying this. You take the Tylenol, then you know what all the chess pieces do, and you know which ways they go. You know which way they go, and you know the moves, you know the opening moves. They tell me the little castle, it's not actually a castle, but then they call it castling, and I just don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe, because they call the maneuver castling, but supposedly, they're calling it rook. They say he's rook. I don't know what the hell's going on. But they tell me that you take a Tylenol, you understand the rules very well. You understand them quite goodly. I want to bring out the, I've been, like, low-key workshopping a T-girl Donald Trump bit, but, like, I don't want to say the T word, and I feel like if Donald Trump was a trans woman, he would. Sorry, she would. She would be using it. And not even necessarily in, like, a reclamatory way. She would be, like, mean about it. She'd be like, I'm the only real one. I'm the only good one. The rest of them, they're all trainees. But not me. Not me. There's a guy, it's very unpopular these days, but what he said was true. There's a guy by the name of, he was Ray Blanchard, and he had a lot of very, very good ideas, very well-informed guy, but they killed him for it. They killed him because his ideas, they were too true, I think. I think a lot of people were afraid of what he had to say, but he had some very good ideas. And he basically said that there are some that are fake and some are real. Okay? Some of them are really about the trans life and the other ones are just playing pretend. I think many people are saying they're horny for the idea that they're women. Many people are saying this, but they're not actually women. Well, none of them are. None of us are. Of course we are. Of course I recognize the fact I'm a biological male, of course. And I think that's one thing you can't say these days. You're not allowed to say it. But it's true. Very sad, but it's true. I will never be able to change the body I was born in. It's sad, but it's true. And here, you see, the fake ones, they're not socially transitioning. They're wearing boy motor hoodies, just like this one. Boy motor hoodies. And they call it boy moding, but they're really men. They should call it man moding. They're gigahan man motors. All of them. Not like me. Not like me. I put in the work. I got the surgeries. I did the hard things. I'm attracted to men. Think about it. Think about it. The number one thing, if you're a woman, you like men. Women are attracted to men mostly. And yet all of them, they call themselves transbians. It's disgusting. They're gross. They're gross. It's disgusting. They sicken me. Dude, I was all the way out here. Oh shit. This is just like what happened to me last time, dude. I'm fucked. I was in the other room, dude. Yes, I support trans rights, but many of my sisters, they're very, very wrong. They don't know how wrong they are. They think that growing out their hair and wearing a dress makes them a woman. They don't realize you need to fuck men to be a woman. They're topping. It's disgusting, these trans women. They're topping. They're topping for chasers. It's disgusting. And they won't make it. Where can I save, dude? They're not voice training. See, I would love to do a Donna Trump, like, ragging on them for not voice training, but I'm not voice trained, and also, like, the Trump voice predicates no voice training. You know, it, like, necessitates no voice training, so I can't be like, they're not voice training. Unlike me, unclockable fishy realness. I put in the work. But, like, we don't even need to, like, search that far or stretch that much for, like, a trans Trump, because, like, we already have Brianna Woo, who is basically, like, if Donald Trump was born into, like, a trans body. Like, you'd have... There's, like, a bare... also Stacey K, to some extent. There's a bare minimum, like, level of, like, libness you need to have as a trans woman, because, like, Republicans, like, at least like 75% of Republicans just kind of like have no concept of you outside of the culture war, and therefore they want you dead. And then the other 25% think you're gross, or like something to be ashamed of in the case of their men. But like sex object perhaps for the men, at least. Sex object that is something to be ashamed of. So like, if not for the culture war, they would just be Republicans, but they can't be Republicans because the Republican Party doesn't really want them. Like, Brianna Woo, I think I bookmarked something. She's got me blocked, so I couldn't bookmark this, like the right way. I had to, like, bookmark someone's quote retweet. You wanna see this shit? Look at this. Look at this bitch. Look at this. Look at the fucking gall of this woman. Sorry I got put on this rant. I fucking sleeper cell activated myself. Oh my god, her fucking Twitter PFP. She has really worked her ass off to make herself look as unsettling as possible. Dude. She's gone out of her way, I think. Like, she's not that old. She's not, like, face looks glued on old yet. Joan has the woke zoomies. Yep. Yep. I've got myself all in a tizzy. But I thought about, like, what would trans Trump's voice-trained voice sound like? And then I thought of Brianna Woo. She's also going to present herself as a sort of leader in the progressive movement. That's not fucking true. That's not fucking true. A bunch of right-wingers hated her and constantly, like shitpost about her, which necessitated that people, like, occasionally come to her defense because of, like, their common enemies. She was never a leader in any sort of progressive circles. She's just lying about this.
So I spent a decade.
I'm gonna leave the like unsettling fucking FNAF music going on in the background. I think it fits perfectly.
So I spent a decade as a leader in the progressive movement, and I want to try to convince you, if you're a Democrat, never to vote or donate money to a progressive candidate ever again. And let me tell you why. So when I first got attracted to progressivism, there was one issue that clued me into it. It was healthcare.
You're transgender, lady.
Yeah,
That's a
this
progressive issue, unfortunately.
young 20-something kid.
Although she has consistently, like persistently, I would say, distanced herself from her own transness, which I think is also very trans-Trump of her. It's very transgender Trump, Donna Trump of her, to just like try as hard as she possibly can to like limit the information regarding her transness for as long as humanly possible until it becomes untenable, until it like as a position either stops being convenient from a narrative level or like just like the evidence is overwhelming. I think she only really started talking about it because like there were avenues of clout for her there. So then she started like, you know, as a trans woman or whatever thing, like she started hitting those notes.
Just trying to make my way in the world, and the insane cost of healthcare really did not.
Also, healthcare is a progressive issue, unfortunately. So I don't know what to tell you. Progressives are the only candidates who are actually interested in like alleviating healthcare costs. That's a progressive issue. So again, I don't know how you could say maybe I should let her finish, right? But I don't know how you could say don't support a progressive candidate if your number one issue is healthcare. Or maybe she's speaking past tense here, though.
Fair to me. We were talking about policies like single payer.
And now it's good. Now it's all better, right?
These things that just seem to make sense. It would address the cost.
Yeah, she was Gamergate involved. Like the Gamergate crowd commonly would pick on her, and so people would defend her on those grounds. I don't think people ever really defended her because they like Brianna Woo. I think they defended her because right-wingers kept dogpiling her. And they wanted to defend, like, the broader sort of community from, like, right-wing aggression. You know, it was a feminist issue to defend Brianna Woo in some way, but, like, they didn't really like her specifically. She was just where they drew the battleground, or, like, where they drew the line, where the battle lines. She was a 4-star general in the Gamer Wars.
At the movement a decade later, can I really ask you, when is the last time you heard a progressive talking about healthcare?
Progressives don't talk to you at all, Brianna, so maybe you haven't heard a progressive talk about anything lately, but who are you talking about? Who? When was, before, you know, this video, when was the last time you heard me talk about healthcare costs? A couple days ago? Maybe a week or two at most?
Like, the truth is the movement has
maybe today even
into a bunch of fairly radical identity politics.
No, bitch! Oh my god! Oh my god! That's just what, that's the right-wing framing of it. She's taken the right-wing framing bait and just taken it as truth.
As well as Palestine. And I'm
well, of course, also that. So really what it is like, we're talking a lot about Palestine right now because in my opinion, it is and has been the most pressing issue facing politics anywhere in the world, essentially, for years, even before October 7th, 2023. So yeah, like, it's about Palestine now. And of course, she's made like several trips to Israel. And really seems to be like trying to cash in on that. But again, much like the Republican base, like, I think the majority of the Israeli public probably like thinks you're kind of gross, but not in the way that I think you're gross, but in the fact that like you're just, because you're trans, they think you're gross.
Really clear here.
So I'm not sure why. I know why. I have a good idea why you might be choosing Israel to cozy up to. And that's due to where like money in American politics tends to fall. You know, which group is doing more lobbying and paying for more spokespeople. Obviously, one has more funds to throw towards like a PR campaign than another. So I kind of know why, but from a moral level, I don't know why you are writing for Israel. Other than, I guess, you're just evil.
Women or black people or LGBT people always get a fair shake in the United States. But my problem is with the progressive movement, they've a bunch of fairly radical
Can I hear that again?
identity politics as well as Palestine. And I want to be really clear here. My position is I don't think women or black people or LGBT people always get a fair shake in the United States. But
I think that people make a big deal out of it.
The problem is with the progressive movement, they've inverted this hierarchy of oppression. You're constantly fighting about who is the most oppressed.
No, we're not really.
Because that
this is so like outside looking in type shit. Like I've been to like events or things hosted by like really radical people, like really radical progressive people. We're not debating fucking who's the most oppressed. They're talking about like what actions need to be taken next for like organizing purposes. Like what can we do for Palestine? What can we do for like houseless people? What can we do for people who are being like pursued by ICE? Like what can we do to sort of disrupt ICE sort of movements in the city? It's not like what the fuck is she talking about? Yeah, it's like PragerU shit. It's so clear that like she hasn't spent any time in like a room full of progressives basically ever. She maybe thinks that she has, but I found this out recently. I don't know if it's true, but I like to believe it's true. Do you know that picture of Destiny Vosh and fucking Keffels all sitting at a table together? I heard recently that photo was taken by Brianna Woo, which is why I say that maybe she does think that she's been in a room with a bunch of other progressives, but like not like real progressives doing like groundwork. Let's be real. Like, that's true. I love that. That's so funny. I think that's incredible. God. Like, I'm not even going to bother fact-checking beyond that. Cather said it's true. That's all I need to hear. Fellini said, I think you're right. That's literally all I need is, like, a couple people to confirm my bias, and I'm going to internalize that as true for the rest of my life. Even if it gets disproven. I don't need to know that it's true for sure. I just need the bias confirmed. It's spiritually so true. Yeah, I've been to radical meetings, Joan chat. No, well, I mean, we got a lot of radicals here meeting, but it's not exactly radical meetings.
He gets to speak.
You got to go do other things sometimes.
It's not.
I regret. It is with a heavy heart. I regret to inform you. You have to go outside sometimes. And I know that's hard. Because it's hard for me. But occasionally you have to go outside.
Formula to have a successful operation.
Yeah, okay, this made-up formula. She read a right-wing interpretation of like a liberal cake recipe. Where they make it seem really stupid. And then she's like, I don't think you could make a cake with this recipe. And it's like, yeah, that's because you're not actually reading the recipe.
I can tell you as someone that worked there for a decade.
Worked where?
Candidate after candidate fail. Project after project fail. The reason was the unprofessionalism that happens behind the scenes. At some point you're gonna...
And there's never any sort of unprofessional behavior behind the scenes for like just milquetoast, like not radical liberal politicians, right? Like, I don't know, off the top of my head, Andrew Cuomo of New York City. Or governor of New York at the time, I guess. Current candidate for mayor. The rampant unprofessionalism. Maybe she thinks that, like, all that shit happened because, unprofessionally, the women came out against him. Maybe the women who came forward with, like, allegations, that was the unprofessionalism.
To work with a white guy. That's just the way the world works. And if you're constantly like trying to tear them down and shut them up and run them out of the organization, every single other person.
What orgs are like white men being run out of for reasons other than being sex pests? Genuinely curious. Or just being like shithead sort of provocateurs who are like only there to stir the pot. They're not getting kicked out because they're white. What the fuck? White boys are being kicked out because they act like white boys. I will concede that. White boys are being kicked out because they act like white boys. But when I say act like white boys, I mean they're like little shits. They're little know-it-all shits who don't want to hear anybody else speak and always think they're right and like are kind of creepy towards women. Like, that's what I mean when I say like white boy behavior. So they might get kicked out for those reasons because they're like troublemakers. And they're not really interested in listening to people. But that's just like, that's unrelated necessarily to their whiteness specifically. Although I would say it's correlated with their whiteness, certainly.
It's not exactly.
It's not because they're white.
It's just not a mature workplace. What I would say to you is this toxic attitude you see on social media is exactly how they behave behind the scenes.
Hey, if moderates are being silenced, why the fuck are you yapping so much, Brianna?
As the Democratic Party is trying to find a new way forward in the Trump era.
Please, please, please don't turn to the left. Please, please, please don't break bread with the left. Please, DNC, please, 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 please. I know Zoran Mandani won the nomination for New York City. I know that looks really bad for us, and I know that like the party is listless right now, completely lacking direction and solid leadership. But please don't turn to the left, please.
I would posit to you that progressivism is not the thing that's going to save us.
Yeah, what will save us, huh? What's gonna save the Democratic Party? Play the same song again. Okay, all right.
Fucking gender ambiguity!
Like, come on. What's that? Play the same song again. You got it. Like, what are we doing? She's so stupid. She's beyond stupid. Thank you, Juliana, for the gifty, by the way. Thank you. She's beyond stupid. Like, let me just remind you one more time before the end of this, how stupid she is.
It's a radical set of policies the American people don't agree with, and also they just can't act like adults.
Okay, sure, right. You blocked me for saying you stink. She blocked me because I said, "Oh brother, this lady stinks." Who's immature here? Can you not take that? Do you think it's like radically immature for me to say that you stink for having a take that I don't like? She tweeted about like Israel has a right to defend itself against these Arab Muslim barbarians or something, and I was like, this lady stinks. Or maybe it was like a milquetoast like both sides type take. Whatever. I don't care. There are no both sides on Palestine. There's one side committing a genocide and another side being genocided. Like, there's no both sides. And I said, this lady stinks. And she took that really personally. Anyway, this is the tweet I wanted to bring up. Why is it not loading properly? Okay, well, it's a Wired article that says SpaceX says it plans to launch a privately crewed mission to the moon next year. This was like 2017. This is being covered as a fun hijink for rich people, but the idea of a private corporation having access to the moon should give you pause. 2. The moon is probably the most tactically valuable military ground for Earth. Rocks dropped from there have the power of hundreds of nuclear bombs. Just very funny take. Like, you go on the moon, you throw a rock, you know where it probably ends up? Back on the moon. If it doesn't end up back on the moon somewhere, where it ends up is in, like, outer orbit of Earth. You know what happens to it if you happen to break the escape velocity and, like, lose enough momentum to send it flying back into Earth? It burns up in the atmosphere. How big of a rock are we talking about here? And this is the woman calling everyone childish. This was her. She was like 30-something when she tweeted this. She's old enough to know better if she cared to, like, do any research whatsoever. Think about it for even a second. But she's the one who thinks we're all childish for daring to ask for more. Not that, like, she's not mad because, like, we're childish and we play identity politics. She's had that idea put into her head by I don't know who. Yeah, spiritually, she is an 80-year-old Democrat. Spiritually, she's fucking Joe Manchin. It's ridiculous. Hundreds of nuclear bombs. Like, how big of a rock? Because, like, if we're talking hundreds of nuclear bombs, you could put, like, again, not to get, like, cringe Reddit fucking weapon systems, but you put, like, tungsten rods in orbit. Technically, those would have, like, the sort of gravitational potential energy of hundreds of nuclear bombs if you made them big enough. It doesn't take the moon to do that. In fact, the moon is sort of like a prohibitive layer on that equation. Like, you have to escape the moon's orbit. You have to make it back to Earth. That takes energy. rods from God. I had to bring up tungsten because it's just like a direct contradiction of what the fuck she's talking about. It doesn't take fucking... She was born in 77. She's almost my dad's age, dude. That's crazy. She was 40. She was 40. No wonder she's spiritually an 80-year-old Democrat. Really, she's spiritually like a fucking 50-year-old Democrat. Because that's exactly what she is. She's a, like, right-leaning Democrat. She's like a moderate Democrat, a.k.a. like a sort of center-right political position receiver, I guess, or taker. And yeah, that's just, like, what she is. Is she Gen X, technically? She might be, like, very, very elder millennial. She might be Gen X. She's generation lead. That explains a lot, actually, now that I think about it. That's very funny. She's 800 years in her phylactery. Anyway, I'm going back to Five Nights at Fredward's now. Sorry about the rant. If you were really into the security breach gameplay. If you were, like, really fucking with the gameplay, I'm sorry. What am I doing here? I need to get to Mazer size. Yeah, rods from God, in their defense, it is a very cool, like, near-future sci-fi type weapon system. I think it's like, I think it's cute. All right, it's a little bit soy, it's a little bit Reddit, it's a little bit Marvel, but I think it's cute. It is quite literally Call of Duty Ghosts. It is quite literally Call of Duty coded. Marker, tangent. Really, I probably should start /markering these. For potential, you know, exporting purposes if I want to actually plug my shit on any other platform ever.